and of course, you for all that you're doing. I'm sorry we had to put you through a Pocono race, but you're a trooper.
Sorry, you made me laugh there. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's alright.
Back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there on the front stretch, and
Shut up.
I could have pushed it a little, wider, but
Aaron, you should have a kind of handy number.
I burnt the right front out again.
How does handy just sound like a hand job to me?
Oh, man,
I don't have that either. But...
keep your chin up because, completely different season. The next race you run is a complete race. And, you never know what can happen race to race. You could find yourself having a stroke of good luck and figuring out exactly how to drive these cars in the future. But before we let you go, man, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight?
Oh, Corey, there's a lot more to racing than just winning. I mean, taking the race by a full lap? Where's the entertainment in that? I just wanted to give the folks a little sizzle. Am I sorry I didn't have a crew chief? No, I'm not. Because I'm a one-man...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kansas Speedway And welcome to the Jaron Sanchez Appreciation. I'm sorry, I mean the Speedway Memes 150 with some big ass spoilers. That's right. We got the big ass spoiler package here on our cars for this evening. You can see them in view there. Big ass spoilers. It's also the birthday of league owner and operator, Mr. Jaron Sanchez. So let's get him up on screen. He's out on track just doing a couple laps. There he is, birthday boy himself. We're going to make sure everyone wishes him an awesome birthday. As it looks like he is heading to the pits. I think the driver's getting ready for a pit party. They are, as they start crawling out onto the track. The 42 of David Stryker was just going around the outside of the field. So it's my assumption that he's not participating in said pit party. Just having a quick little squiz at the times. DJ Crampton currently leading the way with a 30.862. Thomas Harmon in second with a 30.907. There's Hernandez, Horton, and David Stryker as our top 5. And we actually have 19 cars on the grid for the first time in what feels like forever. A couple of new cars as well. A couple of new liveries like the 92 of Chris Champeau running a new paint scheme. As the field is off and racing for the pit party. Whoever that is at the front of the inside line, blinking like a maniac. Oh, loose. Thomas Harmon, who got into the outside fence. I think someone else just crashed in sympathy. It might have been Sanchez, the birthday boy himself. The rest of the field goes streaming down into turn 1. 3 wide. Oh, there's a tap on Kraus. That was an amazing save. Oh, no such save will be available for Jonas and for Frank. Jonas heavy into the wall 3 or 4 times there. And Frank somehow avoided all of the wall. That was actually kind of magical to watch. Just saw the 13 Travis Massia grinding up against the fence. Thomas Harmon comes back out onto the track. He's going to join in on the pit party here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have a couple of new people joining us. One of which is the 68. There he is. Andrew Griesbaum. He's a 3.4k I-rating driver with an A-Class 2.7. And he is currently in 16th. Another newcomer who's just rolling out onto the track is the 14. But he was. It's Dustin Smith. He is an A-Class 3.4 with a 2.7k I-rating. And the other new driver is Austin Collins, who will be in the 00. He's a 3.7k I-rating, A-Class 4.5. Great to have some new blood being injected into the field. We currently have 20 cars to currently take the green flag. We'll see if that's going to stand or not. There's the 92 of Chris Champo, new livery on that car. 7 of Kyle Kraus. Ooh. I just saw Frank exit stage left. Another exit stage left there for David Stryker, this time with the correct number in his car. Let's go through the order real quick here. It's going to be Crampton, Harmon, Pizzacami, Hernandez, Horton, Stryker, Marquez, Griesbaum, Williamson, and Pentacuff as your top 10. And it's Niederhelm, Sanchez, Masia, Isaacson, Kraus, Champo, and Watson filling up 11 to 17. We currently don't have times for Colin Smith or Corey Cook, as the 9-2 of Chris Champo goes around. Corey Cook is on track, so we'll get a time from him here shortly. There's a 39 James Watson, also running a new livery. And he is currently in the 17th position. And he's not that far off the pace. He's only half a second off the time set by TJ Crampton. So half a second separating the entire field who have put in time so far. Just look at the advantage of the outside lane. You see Thomas Hum there actually using the middle lane and getting quite a bit of momentum from it. Put right up to the back of Mark Pentacuff there. So it's definitely a high, wide, and handsome kind of a track. There's Kyle Kraus in the 7. Yeah, it's not easy to make the bottom lane work around here. Qualifying is going to be important, and making sure you got tyres under you for the end of the race is also going to be very important. You see just in front of Pizzacami is a new livery also for Jonathan Hernandez in the 88 car. As Hernandez is actually side by side with Frank Isaacson at the moment. Frank holding his own pretty well there on the low line actually. I think maybe Hernandez had a bobble in the top lane, which allowed a gap for Isaacson to slip into. as Hernandez is blinking up a storm. The race for the lead is on. And Crampton takes the lead of the pit party. And Isaacson just glued to the bottom line. And he's making it work. Could be something in that for later on, maybe. You see there, even the 38. Thomas Harmon making that low line work. And Isaacson has actually taken the lead of the pit party here. Albeit on fresher tyres too, but still. We have 4 minutes left in practice. Oh, and I think that was Hernandez who caught the wall there coming out of 4. Very easy to break your toe link coming out of turn 4. This independent rear suspension. The composite bodies will, deform and then spring back into position properly. But suspension is definitely a weak point in these cars now, especially on the rear. As we've got a few drivers practicing their pit entries, expecting some green flag running, which is understandable. As time just keeps on ticking into the future. There's 42 David Stryker currently in the 6th position still. And the times haven't changed at the top. Crampton's still got the 30.862. Thomas Harmon still with the 30.907. And there's Corey Williamson back on track. As I said, he's currently in the 10th position. And he's got a 30.095. So he's about a tenth and a half off of TJ Crampton's time. As we've had 19 cars set a lap, Dustin Smith, one of the league debutantes, currently sitting on the bottom of the ladder with a 31.661. He's 3/10 from the nearest car of James Watson. Still waiting for Austin Collins to get out there and make a lap, see what he can do around here. But maybe he'll show us what he's got in qualifying. As we now have less than a minute left in practice, there's only one thing. Qualifying will be up shortly, so we are going to go for a commercial break. And when we come back, we will have the results of qualifying. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Speedway Memes 150 will be coming up shortly. Alrighty, qualifying is complete and the grid has been set. And setting a time in the last minute, your pole sitter will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. On his outside will be the 72 of TJ Crampton. On the inside of row 2 will be the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. In the 68, and on his outside in the 38 will be Thomas Harmon. 66 of Sam Niederhelm will be out of the 5th position, with the 92 of Chris Champoa out of P6. The 61 of Corey Cook will be out of 7th, with the 42 of David Stryker out of 8th. The other league rookie, the 14 of Dustin Smith, will be out of 9th, with the 39 of James Watson out of 10th. And we'll have Kyle Kraus, Corey Williamson, Mark Pentecoff, Frank Isaacson, Matt Horton, Jaron Sanchez, the birthday boy, Travis Massia, Jonas Marquez, Brian Pizzicami, and last but not least, Austin Collins, who I don't even think has entered the racetrack yet. But that is the way the field will roll off the grid. At the moment, there is 19 cars to roll off and get this race going. 21 people in the server altogether. So the 19 on the grid are our missing rookie driver and myself. Sof is a 2.7k. And we got 100 laps, 150 miles to get it done. Now, from what we saw from the pit parties, the first lap is a little bit treacherous coming off of turn 2. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that deeper in the field, see if anyone gets loose and spits themselves off the track. The first start is on green. All the restarts will be on the leader in the restart zone. Race car makes his way into the pits, making that hard left turn.
Go. Green flag.
And the green flag is out as Fred, the flag marshal, vigorously waves it in the air. We are racing here for the Speedway Memes 150 from the Kansas Speedway. And already you can see Jonathan Hernandez taking the lead on the low line. Going through turns 1 and 2, the second place will remain to be the 72 of TJ Crampton. See a few cars wiggling and waving throughout the field. We saw the 42 David Stryker having a bit of a wiggle on. Just in front of them is Dustin Smith, one of the league rookies. And Jonathan Hernandez leads the first lap. You see most people migrating to that high line early on. The high line is the place to be, but it's not if you want to try and save tires, surprisingly enough, because of how hard you've got to drive it to stay up there. Looks like a few drivers still loose throughout the pack. We'll go back up to our leaders here. It's currently Hernandez, Crampton, and Harmon leading the way. I'm just trying to have a scoot for our birthday boy is league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez. It's currently sitting at the back of the bus in 19th, as we've had a change for second place, as Thomas Harmon made the low line move on TJ Crampton in turns 3 and 4, got it done. Now he's looking for the lead on Jonathan Hernandez. He goes all the way down to the bottom in turn 2. Couldn't quite get it done. That momentum on the outside is going to carry Hernandez away from him here a little bit. But also with these big ass spoilers, the draft is definitely going to play a factor on the straightaways. Hernandez isn't just going to be able to run away from it, as TJ Crampton absolutely hammered the wall coming out of turn 4. Side by side go our leaders. And I'll be surprised if Crampton does not have a toe link damage after that. As now the 38 Thomas Harmon takes the lead. The battle is still on for third though. And now it's not. Griesbaum has taken third place with a vengeance. As Crampton slips into fourth. Hopefully the damage isn't too bad on that 72 Speedway Means Motorsports car. And Thomas Harmon bucking traditions and running that lower line. This is something that we saw previously when this big ass spoiler package was first introduced. The lower line was actually the more preferred line over a long run. Thomas Harmon getting it done here on the short run. Here comes Hernandez taking a sniff to the outside, trying to make something work for him here. Side by side they go, coming out of two, and it looks like Hernandez takes the advantage, takes the lead back once more. This is not going to stop Harmon from running that low line, though. Oh, and we've had a stack up in the back. Corey Cook's into it. Looks like the other one involved is Chris Champeau in a 92. I think Chris got put into the fence there, or he's put himself into the fence coming out of four, and just the general stack up of everyone being there just definitely provided a little bit of excitement there for a quick second. We've had a change for second place, or battle for second place, my apologies, as Griesbaum is looking to that inside line on Hernandez. He's not going to quite get there, though. We've got a battle going on for fourth as well between Crampton and Niederhelm. It's great to see Niederhelm doing well. He's up to a 2.6k I rating now. Remember when he first joined this league, he was a lower I rating than me and didn't really factor much in the races. He's up here in the top 5, battling some of the best we got. As Griesbaum, looking to play spoiler here, gets underneath of Hernandez and takes the second place away. And now he's going to start charging after Harmon for the lead. See Hernandez there running a slightly lower line, trying to get some air onto that nose. He doesn't want to be plowing tight, which is definitely something that can happen when you're stuck in a draft. And it looks like Thomas Harmon starting to get a little bit of a gap over these two. He's just trying to extend it out a little bit here. It's already out to a couple of tenths. Might be 0.3 that he's out by at the moment. But it's not much, but it's something. Got a side-by-side battle between Kraus and Stryker. These guys are battling over the 6th position. Just behind them is Corey Williamson having a good run in the top 10. Looks like Stryker on that outside line holds the advantage for now. Kyle Kraus is a tenacious driver though, and he'll look for whatever advantage he can get on the low line here. Let's go check in with our birthday boy, see what he's up to. And Jaron Sanchez is currently battling with James Watson for the 18th position. Let's go back up to that battle for 6 that we were looking at between Stryker and Kraus. And there's heaps of battles going on throughout the field right now. It's a very racy track at the minute. As our top 3 just seem to have pulled away from just about everyone. But Corey Williamson trying to hold on to these two just doesn't quite have the pace to do it. which is surprising considering how much side drafting is going on the straightaways here. But that could also be a byproduct of the tightness in the corners from being behind someone. Just in front of these two, Niederhelm and Crampton battling once more. It looks like some of these cars starting to get tight. Even though Kraus isn't behind anyone, see him just slide up that little bit. It was almost just that little bit too high and almost got into the side of Striker. Now he concedes position, falls back in behind Striker. And for now, battle stations have become inert. As we have a battle between Horton and Champo. Looks like Champo trying to get back up to where he was. Horton is one of the things in his way of doing so. Horton with a great run through 3 and 4 on the low side that time. Catches right up to the back of Corey Williamson. Williamson left the top open there for a second. When he closed it off, that's where Horton changed up tack and went back to the bottom. The bottom is working out for a few of these drivers. Surprising we don't have more people trying it down there. Oh, I think I just saw the 5 Mark Benskoff get into the fence a little bit coming out of turn 4. And look at the run that Horton got that time in 1 and 2. Made that move stick so smooth. 92 of Chris Champo followed him. And look at the run that Champo got in turn 3 that time. Damn. Just about got to the inside of Horton. Looks like Horton's definitely going to start running away with this little battle. And he's going to start making his charge towards Kyle Kraus in the 7, who is currently in 7th. Let's see what our leaders are up to here as well. There is Thomas Harmon. He's got an 8/10 of a second lead now over league rookie Andrew Griesbaum. Hernandez still sitting there in 3rd, all over the back of Andrew's car. And then these guys have quite a bit of a gap back to TJ Crampton, who we saw hit the wall before coming out of turn 4. Hernandez almost looked to remove that time on the inside of Griesbaum. Couldn't quite get it moved, get the move made, words. And it looks like for the most part here, everyone just kind of single filed out. Set the camera to focus on crashes. It's come to this awesome little group here. And then it went away from that awesome little group. Well, that's Jonas Marquez, Corey Cook, Corey Williamson, and Dustin Smith. With now the addition of Brian Pizzicami, 5 cars battling over a few positions there outside of the top 10. As 10th place is currently owned by Frank Isaacson. Birthday boy Jaron Sanchez has moved up to 17th. He's slowly chipping away from the back of the pack. You see the 78 Brian Pizzicami starting to work his way through these guys in this pack a little bit. As it looks like most of this pack preferring the bottom lane. Interesting. Very interesting. But with that, I think we are going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll have some more racing action here from the Speedway Memes 150 coming up shortly. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Speedway Memes 150 right here from the Kansas Speedway. And this is what 2.5 seconds looks like. Going back to our second place driver of TJ Crampton. While we're in the ad break, a lot happened. Hernandez and Griesbaum, looks like the handles come off their cars here a little bit. TJ Crampton's gotten around them into second, and Matt Horton in the 89 has come up into third. There's Jonathan Hernandez sitting back there in fourth. Sam Niederhelm with a great run in fifth still. And Griesbaum has fallen down to P6. Let's put the camera focusing on crashes once more. There is Griesbaum. And look at this pack here. This is a full-on 6-car pack that we've got going on here. Kyle Crash at the back of it in 12th. And it's Champo out the front of it in 7th. As I just saw the 42 of David Stryker hitting the fence there a little bit. Just behind these guys in 14th. The birthday boy himself, the league owner and operator, the Ford, Jaron Sanchez, who has been just sneaking his way up the field ever so slightly. Been pretty quiet about it, but he's been sneaking up there all right. And look at the battle, side by side. That's Cook and Striker. And behind them, side by side, is Pizakemi and Isaacson. And now Marquez and Kraus side by side as Striker hit the fence, so that gives advantage to Cook. The old cooking monster himself. Frank Isaacson trying to move up here a little bit. He did have a lock on 10th for a while. And he just got caught up in the battle of both these packs joining together. Corey Williamson has hit the pits. Surprising on lap 34. Oh, and Kyle Kraus. Big time into the fence in front of Sanchez that time. And that has to be toe damage. With how hard of a hit that was, there's no way he does not have toe damage on that car. This has also helped Sanchez to move up into lucky 13. And he's going to try and make the move on Marquez while the luck is with him. Side by side they go along the front stretch here. Who's going to have it at the line? It's going to be Sanchez at the line. So it looks like Crampton starting to reel in Thomas Harmon here a little bit. We set the camera back to focus on crashes. Looking at David Stryker as he is in a battle with Frank Isaacson here. Oh, 3 wide ahead of them for a brief moment. That's Champeau, Cook, and Griesbaum. Griesbaum, who had such a good start to this race, starting to fall off a little bit here. I'm assuming he's used up too much of his tyre, starting to lose the handle on the car. As he's now slipped down to 8th position after challenging for 2nd. 5 of Mark Pentacup has gone into the pits. The 4 of Jaron Sanchez, birthday boy himself, has entered the top 10. Let's set the camera back to focusing on crashes, see where we're at. And we are currently focused on league owner and operator, birthday boy himself, Jaron Sanchez. And in the time it took me to say that, the camera refocused onto Frank Isaacson, who is just behind. Griesbaum is at risk of falling out of the top 10 here. Jaron Sanchez right on his tail. Oh, there's Frank as well. And James Watson, who just came barreling onto the scene. Here goes Sanchez now to the bottom of 1 and 2. And that's going to move him up into 9th now. If he can hold it, that is. It looks like he will. James Watson with a burst of pace right now. Looking the goods as he moves up inside of Griesbaum to take over 10th. Griesbaum definitely looks like the handle has fallen off that car completely now. Scranton has been chipping away at the lead. Thomas Harmon with the fastest lap of the race, which he did pretty early at 31.222. But there's only 1.4 seconds now separating Harmon and Crampton. Now some of these drivers are going to start asking themselves very important questions. And that mostly is going to revolve around when to pit. I see they could go for the undercut option, which is they start pitting around about now, get fresher tyres for now, and try and mitigate the loss later on in the race. They could try go for the split tyre strategy, even tyres throughout the whole race. Or they can try and go to the end of their fuel life and pit late, have fresher tyres for later in the run. We'll wait and see what some of these drivers decide, as we've already had a couple come in early. Earlier than I would expect, honestly, for Williamson and Pentacuff. I thought maybe they were pitting for damage, but the time they spent in pit lane definitely isn't indicative of that. As Stryker and Isaacson battling it out hard here for the 11th position. Isaacson all the way to the bottom of the track, and the camera cuts over to Corey Cook. I need to speak to the production team about this, as league owner and operator, birthday boy himself, Jaron Sanchez, up into 8th now as he gets around Brian Pizzakemi. I think he spent most of the first half of this race just chilling out and protecting his tyres. Now he's showing everyone what they can do. Corey Cook holding on to the 7th position for now. We'll see how that goes for him. But the battle between Sanchez and Pizzakemi has been finished. Corey Cook's actually been catching up to the little group here in front of him, which involves Niederhelm, Champo, and Hernandez. Matt Horton has worked his way up into 3rd. Let's go check out the 61 car here, as he's now working to the bottom of Niederhelm. And Champo got around Hernandez for 4th. But a handle falling off of Hernandez as well. Oh, Niederhelm into the fence. That's all Corey Cook needed to get that position. As Corey Cook also disposes of Hernandez quite smartly. Having a look at our biggest movers of the race so far. We got Matt Horton up 12. We got Brian Pizzakemi up 10 and Jaron Sanchez up 8. Jonas Marquez also up 5, surprisingly. Well done to him. Make that Sanchez up 9 now, as he moves his way into 7th in front of Niederhelm. He's all over the back of Hernandez, as Hernandez seems to just be falling from grace here a little bit, much like Griesbaum did earlier. Hernandez goes low line. Sanchez goes high line. Sanchez with all the momentums coming out of turn 4. He's going to be in front of Hernandez at the line. We've had a change for the lead, but all that's been happening. Oh, they're battling. There was contact coming out of turn 2. We just caught the tail end of that. Oh, another touch coming out of turn 4. At the halfway mark, TJ Cranton led at the line. We're 50 laps down, 50 laps to go. And he's still not quite clear yet. These guys battling tooth and nail for the lead right now, as I think that's Jonathan Hernandez who's entered the pit lane. Coming out of turn 4 this time. Oh, big smack into the wall for Thomas Harmon. And that is going to absolutely give the lead to Crampton here. And with some gap to spare, Harmon might have some serious damage to his toe link after that one. As more cars enter the pits. See Kraus. I can see Isaacson and someone else in the pits. I couldn't see who the third car was there. Go back to looking at Corey Cook and Jonas Sanchez now. We move back to Sam Niederhelm, who has a battle going on behind him between Pizzakemi and Watson. But Pizzakemi is winning out on this little battle as the flurry green flag pit stops well and truly underway. Thomas Harmon, Chris Champeau, Dustin Smith all in the pits. Corey Williamson, Frank Isaacson. They're in the pits as well. Travis Masia. Sanchez unofficially fourth. TJ Crampton is in. It's going to give the lead to Matt Horton. Sanchez unofficially running in second in this race. He's got Corey Cook all over his tail. So if Matt Horton pits this time, this will put the birthday boy Jonas Sanchez into the lead of this race. And Horton is not going to pit this time. But Sanchez was 0.4 of a second faster than Matt Horton on that last lap. Horton did a 33.1. Sanchez with a 32.6. And into the pits comes Horton and Sanchez this time. Pizzakemi will continue on. Corey Cook into the pits as well. We only have 2 cars left to pit. But leader lap points going to Brian Pizzakemi this time. And it looks like Pizzakemi Watson still continuing on in this race. They haven't pitted yet. And they could actually be battling for the lead here shortly. TJ Crampton is effectively the race leader at the moment, though, as he is the first car who has completed the pit stop. Oh, and a little bit of a rub into the fence there for Pizzakemi coming out of 4. They still both have not pitted. 64, Jonas Marquez is back into the pits once more. Just behind these guys, David Stryker, who's down in 19th. Oh, and we're going to change for the lead. Stryker on fresh tyres, splitting the middle. And here they come into the pits this time. The 39 of Watson, the 78 of Pizzakemi. We're going to go back to the 72 of TJ Crampton, who is the race leader. He has half a second over Thomas Harmon. And James Watson actually got leader lap points for that lap. But that is all going to be for naught, as our 2 leaders here will retake the lead officially. Now, by virtue of everyone completing their pit stops, we're going to see how everything is going to equal out. So it's Crampton, Harmon, Griesbaum back up into third after the pit stop cycle. He pitted on lap 47. So Crampton, Harmon, Griesbaum, Williamson, Champeau is your top 5. Horton, Pentecost, Sanchez, Niederhelm, Cook completing your top 10. Although we do have more people heading into the pits. Got differing tyre strategies all throughout. Pizzakemi is back in the pits. Pizzakemi possibly with some kind of penalty. Oh, that's unfortunate. He was on a hard charge as well there. Jonathan Hernandez has gone a lap down. Oh, he spent a whole minute 20 in the pit, so he went and got some damage fixed while he was in there. And Pizzakemi has gone 2 laps down. There's Frank Isaacson currently in 10th. Right behind Sam Niederhelm, and they have the lap car of Jonathan Hernandez right there with them. There's a 5 of Mark Pentecost there as well. He is on the lead lap in P8. Jonas Marquez in this little group, he's on fresh tyres. But he is also multiple laps down. He's currently in 19th, 3 laps down. He'll be looking at getting some of those back. Corey Cook with a big move onto the apron, as he swept around both Pentecost and Isaacson to take over 9th. But Frank gained 1 and lost 1. But he's going to fight back on the outside of Corey Cook here. Try and get 9th place. Let's check in with our leader, because I think things are starting to get close between himself and Harmon, and they are. There's about a 1/10 of a second in it between these two. That time by Crabton did a 31.676. Harmon with a 31.543. That was a 1/10 better for Harmon than it was for Crampton. So obviously that hit into the wall that Harmon had wasn't as bad as I had initially thought it was. I was expecting quite a bit of suspension damage to be coming out of that 38 car from it. Obviously, pitting when he did definitely helped out as far as tyre strategy goes, because it caught TJ unawares. It's not very often we see Harmon making mistakes. I normally see that little chink in the armour. Chris Champeau has worked his way back up into 3rd, getting around Griesbaum. These two are in a league of their own at the moment. They have over 5.5 seconds back to Chris Champeau. also a multitude of lap cars between them and the third place driver. To the inside goes Harmon. Couldn't get anything done with it. See that time, Crampton taking away the line of Thomas Harmon. You might think that that's good from a drafting standpoint, and it is, but it's also bad because of the tire standpoint. Being behind someone that close makes you a lot tighter. This time Crampton goes back to the top. Harmon to the bottom. On a little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn 4 for Crampton that time that I saw. A little bit of Shakira bum dancing. As I can see the 81 Corey Williamson going into the pits. Obviously he's got some damage on that car. Or else he wouldn't be pitting right now. It's starting to get closer and closer to us having to throw to another commercial break here due to network commitments. But it's just so hard to try to want to throw to a commercial break. These guys are battling so hard for the lead. Even though they haven't been side by side, it's still a very intense battle. And it looks like Crampton's starting to pull away from Harmon here now. You can see a little bit of an air gap forming. That's about 0.4 of a second right now. So we could probably push it out to 0.5 of a second. As these guys honestly aren't all that far away from their fastest times in this race. Last lap by Crampton, a 31.751. His fastest lap of the race is a 31.394. It's only about 0.4 of a second there. Maybe 3.5. Oh, as I say, another car's going back into the pits. That's the 42 David Stryker. I think he pretty much had to pit there because he was the first one to pit. He pitted very early. But now we have gone 3/4 race distance. That's 75 laps complete. And 25 laps to go. So we are going to go for another quick commercial break here, and when we come back, we will be going to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Speedway Memes 150 will be coming up very shortly. And welcome back to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Speedway Memes 150 right here from the Kansas Speedway. And this is what 0.4 of a second and closing looks like. This is from a nose cam on the Thomas Harmon car. And he's just started catching TJ Crampton here a little bit. Down to just under 0.3 of a second now, so Thomas Harmon starting to turn up the wick. Just behind them, Brian Pizzakemi, who's down in 17th, 2 laps down. He's going to be looking at getting one of them back here. He is on much fresher tyres than our leaders. At least in theory he is. He might not be, because I'm pretty sure he pitted for a penalty. That's usually a stop and go kind of a stop. Well, Pizzakemi experimenting with some alternate dimensions, trying to get laps back illegally. Not going to work out for him this time though. Still 2 laps down. The gap's kind of stabilized here between our leaders. Let's go back to focusing on crashes, see what we can find. There's Corey Cook in the 61. He's right behind Sam Niederhelm in the 66. Just behind them, James Watson in the 39. This is 6th, 7th, and 8th on track. Back up to TJ Crampton we go as they're just about to start encountering lap traffic. The 5 for Mark Pentacuff just up the road. And it's 6.5 seconds back from Thomas Harmon to Chris Champeau in 3rd. So that gap has extended a little bit. Birthday boy, league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez comfortably sitting in the top 5 right now. Right behind him is one of the league rookies, Andrew Griesbaum. Crampton and Harmon have both negotiated Pentacuff, who's in 14th, 1 lap down. You see, Pizzakemi wants to get one of these laps back, but he doesn't want to get in the way of this battle between our 2 leaders. We are entering, or starting to enter the final stages of this race. And a late race caution is still always a possibility. And this league is known for exceptionally clean driving most of the time. But the possibility of a caution is always in the back of these drivers' minds. You see right on the tail of Harmon is Pizzakemi. This will actually be making Harmon a little bit loose. See a little bit of a wiggle as he just about hit the wall coming out of turn 4. There's David Stryker. He's one of the lap down cars. He's getting around Jaron Sanchez there on his march to getting one of his laps back. But the closer the Pizzakemi is to Harmon's rear, the more loose Harmon will be. And that could provide some fireworks in itself. As we have just 14 laps to go now. 86 down, 14 to go. But it looks like this drafting that Pizzakemi is doing with Harmon has actually been helping Harmon catch up to Crampton here. Although I think Harmon caught the fence on entry, and that slowed him up a lot. all that time that he gained from drafting with Pizakemi here, he just lost. The laps just keep on ticking down. We do have the camera set to focus on crashes, so if something's happening throughout the field, hopefully the camera will pan over to it. It's 0.5 of a second right now between Crampton and Harmon. Pizakemi, looks like he's definitely trying to encourage Harmon to close that gap a little bit. Harmon goes to the bottom line in 3 and 4. It looks like the move for Harmon here is top of 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4. That's where he's getting all of his pace from. We've got 10 to go. This is where the action will usually start heating up, and not just for our leaders, but all throughout the pack. Any little battles for position. As league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez has actually moved his way up into 4th. Plus 12 positions from the start of this race. We're looking at Matt Horton, who was recently overtaken by Jaron Sanchez. Sanchez is trying to drive up to the back of Chris Champeau. Just 3 seconds up the road from him. Matt Horton just trying to hold on to a nice top 5 position over Griesbaum, the league rookie. Or one of the league rookies. It's 8 to go. Jonas Marquez is actually driving these guys really hard. He's encouraging them to do better. Back up to our leaders now. Still, Pizakemi holding on to the back of Harmon, trying to encourage him to go faster. As I think someone else actually has the fastest lap of the race now. Don't see a purple next to Thomas Harmon's name. And yeah, the 42 David Stryker. Fastest lap of the race, a 31.129. We see him just up in the fence there. He's currently 3 laps down though, so that's not going to be doing him any favors. As Crampton puts a lap down on Travis Massia. Massia in 13th will now be the first car 1 lap down, so it means we only got 12 cars left on the lead lap. When we get to the line this time, we'll have just 5 laps left to run in this race. 0.5 of a second separating our 2 leaders. Unless disaster strikes with TJ Crampton, it's going to be very hard for Harmon to take the lead away from him here. The gap second to third has extended out to 7.8 seconds now. There's a massive gap back to Chris Champeau in third. In the same token to that though, Sanchez has been catching Champeau like you would not believe. See Sam Niederhelm looking for an inside move on Corey Cook. This is the battle for 8th. Just behind them is the battle for 15th between Hernandez and Williamson. All 3 wide, they're going to go with Niederhelm. Oh, and Hernandez hit the fence there a little bit. Gave Williamson the advantage, taking over the 15th spot. Big bump draft from Hernandez, though, going along the front straight here. He wants the battle between them to be righteous and epic. As we've got 2 to go now, we'll go back to looking at our leader, TJ Crampton. Speedway Memes and Motorsports number 72 car. See the gap back there to Thomas Harmon's been extending. It's out to 0.8 of a second now. As he comes out of turn 4 for the penultimate time. Going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for TJ Crampton. Makes his way through turn 2 nice and clean. See Harmon pushing the car to the limits as much as he can. He's probably encouraging Pizzacchemi to bump draft him a little bit as well. But coming out of turn 4 for the final time, your winner here at the Speedway Memes 150 at the Kansas Speedway will be the 72 of TJ Crampton. Second place goes to Thomas Harmon. Third, uncontested, will go to Chris Champeau, with 4th place being the birthday boy himself, 4 of Jaron Sanchez. 5th place will go to Matt Horton. Actually, no, it went to James Watson at the line. So that was a battle we didn't see coming. James Watson taking home 5th place over Matt Horton. But here is your winner, TJ Crampton, as he's going to celebrate with some burnouts here. All right, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Driver interviews coming up shortly. Welcome back. It is now time for driver interviews, and as always, we kick things off with the Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And today's Hard Charger, starting in 10th and finishing in 5th, is going to be the 39 of Mr. James Watson. James, Hard Charger Award here for Kansas. Congratulations, mate. How is it like out there with the high line being mostly dominant, but a lot of people finding ground on that low line?
Yeah, I was using some wisdom that our builder, the great Kenny Coppola, was passing on to us. I was spending the first like 10 laps of the run or so on the bottom to save tire and then move up when I could. And so I was just trying to kind of switch back and forth, run one lane until I could feel the tires start to heat up a bit, and then change lanes to kind of cool them down, and kind of use that to get past everyone. And then went for a little bit of the overcut, and was able to get that to work. Honestly, a lot better than what I was expecting it would when I made that pit stop.
Another important factor in all that is also not getting a speeding penalty in the pits, which it looked like a couple of people ended up getting, and also avoiding that wall to make sure you didn't get any damage.
Yeah, I kind of glanced off of it a couple times. Once in the first run, a couple times in the second run, like the last couple laps, trying to run down Andrew and Horton. But I looked out and didn't really damage the car either time. But some of our competitors weren't as lucky. But yeah, I lucked out hardcore.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, James. We're going to be going to the Darlington Raceway. What's the feeling like for you as we go and tackle the Lady in Black?
So I'm one of the weird people in that I actually enjoy running Darlington. I enjoy tracks like that. It's like the one of the few big tracks that I actually enjoy going to. It's a lot of tire conservation and just keeping yourself out of trouble, and that kind of fits a little better into my skill set than than a traditional mile and a half. So it's it's gonna be difficult, but I'm hoping to get a keep my string of decent finishes going.
All right, James, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yes, sir. Gotta thank everyone at Team Monster Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off a checkout. I gotta thank Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel, National Racing Network for always sticking with us. CAS Designs for putting together my schemes, and simsearch.com. If you have any sim racing equipment you're looking to offload, put it up on simsearch.com.
All right, thank you very much for coming out, James. Congratulations on taking home a top 5 and the Hard Charger Award. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Darlington.
Here's hoping. Hopefully, I'm talking to you again.
Absolutely, mate. Catch you later.
Peace.
All right, guys, that was the 39 of James Watson, today's Hard Charger Award winner and top 5 getter. Coming up next, we've got a guy who doesn't necessarily need to be in the booth, but I wanted to bring him into the booth. Because, why not? Of course. It is now the former league owner and operator, but birthday boy himself, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Jaron, happy birthday first and foremost. Congratulations on getting top 4. An incredible effort out there from you, and you just look absolutely relaxed out there tonight on track.
Boy, I didn't know what I was doing for the first half of the race. Thanks for the birthday, happy birthday, but no, I didn't know what I was doing. I was in the back, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna ride this out. I got a 4X on the start of the race. I'm like, I'm just gonna ride around. And I was back there with James, and next thing you know, we start catching everybody. And next thing you know, we start passing everybody. I'm like, man, I guess it's just working. So we just kept it going, and then And then the second run, I was trying not to get too excited, trying to think of everything I did in the first run, but really, I wasn't really doing much besides just thinking I was riding. But I must have been saving tires, and that's probably what did it.
I mean, it definitely looked like you were saving a little bit early in the run on that second run, because towards the end of this race, you were starting to creep up towards Chris Champone. I reckon another 10 laps probably could have been a little bit of an interesting battle between you two coming to the line.
Yeah, well, when I realized I had some speed, I was starting to push in that second run. But I'm rusty. You know, I haven't been here racing the last 3 weeks for sure, and then even before that, I've been off and on. I don't have as much seat time as I used to, so I'm so much slower nowadays, and everyone's so fast. So in practice, I was slow and messy, and I just went to the race feeling like it was going to be nothing, but it just started clicking, and yeah, I wish I would have qualified now and actually tried the first start. You know, the first 25 laps would have been nice, but oh well, it was fun. I had a real fun race, and I'm real excited about that finish. And yeah, it feels good. Feels good. Top four is like a win for me, for sure.
Now, as I detailed when I brought you into the voice chat here, you're going to be stepping down from owner roles. You'll still be the owner of the league, but you'll be taking a step back from responsibilities for it for a little bit. I just wanted to say thank you first and foremost for putting the league together and bringing me in as the broadcaster. It's been a lot of fun over these years, and definitely looking forward to seeing how the league will evolve as we keep going on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I started the league just wanting to race with friends. I didn't have any friends when I first got into iRacing, and I just wanted some friends. I was a loner, but I just wanted a good, fun group to hang out with and shoot the shit and race with. And I think we did that, and I ran it for, it's been almost 5 years now, since 2018, and I'm just ready to be just a driver. I just want to drive now and hang out, not worry about any of the responsibility stuff. And the guy's been doing a great job running the league for the past. They've honestly been running it for the past year. I've been in and out, not really committed, and they're committed. And I don't want to just jump in a random week and pretend like I'm the admin dude when they are really the ones been running it and doing a good job. So I don't know. It's time just to be a driver for a while. Try to get that motivation to come back and just have fun again. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, and it's nice to start, that process with a top four.
All right, now let's look forward towards the next week. The league will be going to the Darlington Raceway. What's the feeling like for you going to the Lady in Black?
Terrible. I don't want to go there. I'm gonna die, but maybe not, and we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Jaron. Congratulations on a top four. Happy birthday once more, and would look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah. Thanks, Corey. Been there from day one, and I appreciate you doing all these broadcasts. The league loves them, and we all appreciate you.
Thank you very much, mate. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. That was the former league owner and just all-round good guy. Happy birthday, Jaron Sanchez. Coming up next, we are going to have our third place getter. And today's third place goes to the 92 of Chris Champeau. Chris, looked like it was a little bit of a difficult race out there for you. You were involved in a couple of sideways moments that I saw. What was it like for you out there on track, especially early on in the going?
Yeah, early on it was a little rough. It got real scrappy right away, and honestly, I was trying to save tires, and that went out the window right away. Like, I don't know, everyone was just like scrapping, and it felt like it was like a lap, I don't know, like 90, and it was lap 7. But I don't know. It was just I think people just not wanting to give up ground early in the race, I guess, and there was the incident where David got on the inside of me, and when you like in these cars with this particular package, when you get on the inside of someone, it's like a giant bubble on the outside of their car, so it just starts pushing the other car if you're not careful. And I let off the gas to try and save it, and it actually turned into the wall. So it was like, well, I guess we're going to the wall. And then I know Cookie got involved in it, so hopefully he didn't wreck his car too much. Doesn't sound like David had any damage. I didn't have any damage, which is amazing because I smacked the wall real hard. And then I think a couple laps later, I think Corey Williamson got a little loose. I don't know if I came up into him or if he got loose and came down, but we got into it a little bit. And for the most part, I think that was about it. After that, things settled down. I'd say after like lap 20, things settled down and people just kind of were like, okay, it's going to get tight, so we might as well just save the tires. So once that happened, actually, I was digging really hard at the end of that first run. I was catching everybody, and I was like hoping that people would stay out another 10 laps and I could go get tires and maybe make up some ground. But overall, just happy with the P3.
It definitely looked like it was starting to lose the handle a little bit there at the end of that second run too. Sanchez out of nowhere was just catching you like a bullet.
Yeah, he was like coming on quick. I was also sort of not paying attention towards the end.
That's what I was thinking was going on because it just seemed like he had all the pace in the world, and you were even losing a little bit of time to the 2 leaders.
Yeah, once I realized I couldn't really catch him, I kind of just buckled in and was kind of hanging out. And Jaron was coming up quick, but I didn't think he had enough time to catch me. I was kind of doing the math as I was going. I was probably doing more math in my head than I was actually racing. If I would have just raced, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. But yeah, just having a good time out there.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, Chris. We're going to be going to the Darlington Raceway. So feeling like for you going to the track that is literally too hard to tame.
Well, I hope. Hold on, my fucking spotter's just yelling at me. I'm hoping the setup's pretty good. I don't remember what the setup's like there. That's one of those tracks, much like this one, where you have to ride real close to the wall, and if you start getting tight, it's not like I think it's getting tight. It's you're in the wall tight, and then your race is done. So hopefully the setup's pretty good. And then I like Darlington quite a bit. So if we can probably have a good race there if the setup is right and everything goes our way, but we'll see.
All right, Chris, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Well, is it Jaron's birthday? Did I hear that right?
Yep.
Well, happy birthday, Jaron, and thanks for always putting on a good league.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Chris. Congratulations on coming home, P3. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Darlington.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys, that was our third place skater here tonight, the 92 of Mr. Chris Champo. Coming up next, we are going to have our second place skater, and tonight's second place goes to the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas, you dominated the first half of the race, but when TJ caught you, it looked like you guys were involved in a fairly intense battle there for a few laps.
Yeah, it was a pretty good battle. I think we netcoded there at one point and was really unfortunate. But, we kept it together and fought side by side for a couple of laps. I ended up smacking the wall, which cost me pretty good. Gave me the lovely 12.5 seconds of damage, so the draft was no longer my friend.
I noticed towards the end of the race there, you were catching TJ a little bit in certain parts, and it looked like it was thanks to a little bit of drafting help there from Brian. What was that like having Brian behind you while he was a couple laps down, just pushing you that little bit to try and get you caught up to TJ?
Well, whenever you'd actually make contact and push me, that's when I'd actually benefit from it, and I really appreciate it because it let me stay close to TJ and make the race a lot closer to what it actually was or would have been.
All right, now since there's not really much that we can talk about with this race because it was a fairly boring one for you, look forward towards next week when we go to Darlington. What's the feeling like for you as we head to the Darlington Raceway?
I don't know how I'm going to have to beat next week for the bracket thing that we have going on, but I'm going to do my best to win that one for whoever voted for me. But I like running Darlington. I hope they didn't put the super speedway set on that one too. because it definitely sucks at the intermediates.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you up at the booth for broadcasting it to everybody. All the fans and drivers that show up each week. The drivers' council and admins of the league, and Avril on the car.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Congratulations on coming home P2. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Darlington.
Sounds good. I'll be there. Have a good one.
All right, guys. That was our second place getter, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Coming up next, we are going to have the winner of today's race. And the winner of today's race, representing Speedway Memes Motorsports, is, of course, the 72 of Mr. TJ Crampton. TJ, you were behind for a lot of that first run, but once you got caught up to Thomas, you had a fairly intense battle with him there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We made a lot of contact once, and then he got in the wall, which was a bit unfortunate. I feel like it'd have been a way more spicy of a battle late in the race without his damage. So that was kind of unfortunate. But overall, it was a very good day. Came home, finished, started second, came home with the dub. Especially at Kansas, which was kind of mid for me, but now I think I kind of like it a little better.
All right, now let's just talk about that second run there. It just looked like you were on cruise control for most of that second run. Whenever Thomas really got close to you, you just seemed to open up the wick a little bit and just pull away from him. Were you saving tires at all in that second run just for those specific occasions?
Yeah, I was saving a little bit, not too much, but I was definitely saving some. And then I saw that Thomas was using the bottom, and he almost got to my quarter panel at one point. So I took his line away and kind of dialed it up to 9,500 and kind of pulled away a little bit. And then once I kind of burned off my right front a little bit towards the end, but luckily he had his damage and was able to keep behind me.
All right, now let's talk about the closing laps. Thomas was getting a little bit of help there from the 78 Brian Pizzicami. Were you worried at all that them in a draft combination was going to catch up to you a little bit, or were you just pretty settled with you're going to win this no matter what?
I definitely had some doubt in the back of my mind. I didn't know how bad Thomas's damage was, and if they were able to link up or not. And there's a few times where they were starting to catch, and I was getting a little bit worried, so I'd push a little bit harder. And but once we got closer and closer to the end of the race, I saw he kept falling a little bit more back. So towards the end, I kind of I felt like I had it in the bag, but definitely early in the run when they were pushing each other, I was a little bit worried.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, TJ. Going to be going to the Darlington Raceway. What's the feeling like for you as we go and tame the Lady in Black?
Pretty good. Darlington. I like Darlington, and gonna be a very fun track. Not wide at all. It's very narrow. Gonna have to watch out. Don't break a toe link. But very excited for that track.
All right, TJ. Before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
I want to shout out you for broadcasting, Output Racing. Always very fun to drive and participate week in and week out. I also want to thank Extreme Mufflers, Speedway Memes Media, and Team Watson Racing Setups.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, TJ. Congratulations on bringing it home for the Speedway Memes race, and we look forward to seeing you again next week at Darlington.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was tonight's winner, the 72 of TJ Crampton. All right, but that is going to wrap things up for us here tonight. Thank you all for coming out. I saw in the Twitch chat here we got a couple of new followers, which is always great. Once again, happy birthday to Jaron Sanchez. Thank you for everything that he's done over the last 5 years for the league and for this channel. And we look forward to seeing all of you again next week when we go and tame the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway. So until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys in Darlington.